Hello, let's do a couple of more videos before sleeping here. We are still in Wijk tournament 2011. And now we're going to look against the rivalry, the internet chess rivalry, Magnus Carlsen against Hikaru Nakamura. And back in these days, Hikaru played very sharp, very aggressive, very interesting. Interesting how Magnus playing bishop e2. There are of course many ways to play the knight off here, and he's changing it up. So Hikaru does the classical way to play the knight off with e5, and here Magnus does an interesting thing, which actually you see the computer likes his move, so he's ahead of his time. I don't think like computers at this time, like now we are in 2024, but like 13 years ago when this game was played, I don't think like computers really understand as good as today. So Magnus old mainline would be something like short castling and maybe something like queen e2 long casting or whatever, but Magnus actually does a g4 here, which the computer likes, and this is normal because you need to get out the bishop before g5 comes. You can put the knight on d7, so it's normal stuff. And now he does h4. Looks better to do queen g2 actually, but h4 is also fine. Looks like the computer likes a5 here. That's interesting. Interesting actually. Computer likes h5. It's a possibility. Okay, so that was a possibility. I think this one is the most logical. Why? Something like this, I think, is normal. Okay, you can always, it's always this knight b6, always like a problem. Yeah, maybe it's not so easy. Let's see how Hikaru did it. He did this one. This one I'm not such a fan of because I feel you kind of want the pawn here, but the computer seems to think this is also okay. You can always like trade it away and then go for the pawn pushes, so it's not so bad. An interesting, Magnus plays the top computer move again here, f4. Yes, sometimes you should take it and sometimes you should not. But here I think, yeah, I think you should take it here. It just looks dangerous too. It looks very dangerous for white to get the pawn to f5, then suddenly he can do f6 and open up here, maybe castling and rook e1 first. So it looks safest to take here actually. And knight e5 is normal. Usually this kind of position is fine for white if black cannot play like an early d5, and he can't do that here, so it's a little bit of a positional advantage for white here. Okay, so the computer didn't like that. Okay, and the reason is that he can start doing tactical stuff here now by checking here. Then this, and you can't really take because of that. Okay, so yeah, that would at least, it would at least make Magnus think if the opponent attacks you with a pawn storm, you either want to open strike in the center or you want to divert attention, so you don't just want to be passive and let the opponent keep doing the pawn storm here with like g6 and build on his attack slowly. You want to distract him, and this move that the computer suggests that I showed you here, this is a good distraction for it might not give anything, but it at least gives White something to think about, so he just can't like do g6 and attacking that I think he might be able to do here in this game now. So let's see how it continue. But Rook f8 is fe8 is also a typical move. And maybe Magnus, King a1 is hard to explain, but maybe Magnus saw this. He probably saw this idea by the computer, knight c4 and then knight e3 a3 check, and that's why he's moved in king already. So that's a bit smart actually. It also gives that's the only reason I can think of. Let's see what happens here. And now he feels he's ready to do this pawn sack here. It's obviously like a pawn sack you can easily do. You can easily do this pawn sacrifice like on intuition, because who cares about a pawn if you open some lines against your opponent's king? Okay, now black does this that he maybe should have done before. So this here, I play this quite a lot as black, this knight of things, like always hard to know how you should respond. Like it's hard to know how to respond. So he decides to take and do h6. Maybe it's the best, but it's like whatever you do, it's some kind of problems. Like however you do here, there's always some kind of problems. For example, if you take here, then it's this kind of threat, so you can't do that really. Maybe if you let it be like this, if you, let's say you play some slow move, then maybe h6 and maybe it takes. Okay, it's still this. It's always this tactical ID. So the right for black is to defend that actually. Maybe you should do like this maybe. Yeah, not so easy to know. Looks maybe this one could be fine. Yeah, it's a complicated position even for the computer here. So let's see. The computer likes h6 first. It's also, yeah, maybe probably the best if the computer says so. But he took and then h6 and then queen g3. Now he's threatening on b2, so nice defensive move here. If this wasn't here, he would threaten this and this, but now Magnus has time to make a move. Often you want the rook here to cut the king. If you start sacrificing here, you don't want the opponent's king to be able to run to the queen side. You want to keep it here in the prison. So now I see his plan is to check, take here and then mate here. So Magnus prevents that by doing that. Apparently it has to be taken. so if you just do a random move, what's the winning combination here? Okay, apparently everything wins. Something like this is made then. Okay, so there is lots of threads here. So let's follow the computer line, same that Hikaru played. But now he took on d5, which doesn't work, and it gives Magnus a good way to finish the game off in style. Better would have been this move, and it's logical to go here, then apparently here, and try to take this one. Okay, if you take here, I guess it's this then, yeah. So they want to trade this first. Now you can't go here because it can just be taken. Okay, it's threatening mate. So he has to, apparently has to, yeah, if he has to give the exchange here, then it's just best. How about this one? When he can apparently defend this one. Yeah, apparently white is winning, but I still can't see. I still can't see it. Okay, you can't take because the mate. So okay, he wants to take and take on g6, of course. So he wants to take and take on g6. Okay, and if he goes here to not do that. Yeah, it's a long line, but the computer is clear that black cannot defend, but this would have probably been a better way maybe for black anyway, because now there's a winning combination that Magnus is doing here by sacrificing the bishop, which the computer thinks is correct. Then g7. So he moved the bishop here. If he would have taken the knight here, and it's hard to defend this one and this one. Only way to defend the bishop is to go here, and then it's this kind of, apparently this is a checkmate. Now or at least you win the queen with check here. Yeah, that's clearly winning. Okay, so Hikaru saw that, so he didn't take it. And of course it's threatening mating 1, so you have to move the bishop down. Then Magnus takes here. Now it's hard to defend here, so he has to do that. Magnus do this one. And it's apparently forced mate now. Let's see how Magnus did it. Yeah, here it's not possible to defend this one, and it's threatening mating 1, so you have to block here somewhere. Okay, so he did this. So this is apparently forced mate, I guess. Okay, but Magnus did is also winning probably. Yeah, because if you go here, it's checkmate. So he has to give the queen, and this is of course easy for Magnus to win with queen and knight for 2 rooks. So that's a very nice attacking game by Magnus. Okay, see you next game.